Hello, guys, and welcome to Man Talks Abuse. Please subscribe, share, like. I want to talk about familiar spirits. I'm going to go slow. This may end up being a 2 or 3 part talk. And because I want to go slow is because I begun in the latter days of when I was living under the same roof as this person. In the past few years, every time I would confront him, he would say, "You're just familiar with me. It's a familiar spirit. It's a familiar spirit." And I logged that word, those 2 words, in my heart, in my soul, in my mind, in my tuition. And I just let them lay there. And the most recent, which was a couple of weeks ago when we sat down again with a pastor friend, counselor friend of mine, he used those 2 words again. He said that I am familiar, meaning that he was telling me, you've just become too familiar with me. It's just a familiar spirit that you are familiar with inside of me. And so again, since I left, I began to make notes to try to help me understand what was going on over 20 something years in this horrible hell. And yes, it was hell that I was in, from the compulsion of masturbating in front of me and so many other horrible things. So today, the reason I am talking slow is because I sat down to make another talk, and then something prompted me to look up the definition of familiar spirit. It prompted me to look up the definition for a familiar spirit and or familiar spirits. And I was quite taken aback. I know you can't see me right now, but if you were to see my heart is almost pumping out of my chest, because it just confirms to me that I was right on target for a long time. And it also confirms to me that I was fighting a spiritual battle. Now, don't tune me out. Please don't tune me out when I say that. So I'm just going to read the definitions that I found on Google and Wikipedia about familiar spirits. Familiar spirit definition is a spirit or demon that serves and prompts an individual. A demon supposedly attending and obeying a witch. That's the first definition, and I want to stop right there, because I was asked a couple of days ago, what was the deciding factor that made you say, I cannot be here anymore, regardless? And the major deciding factor has to do with a witch. Has to do with a witch. Has to do with a witch. And so I'm going to read that definition again. Familiar spirit definition is a spirit or demon that serves and prompts an individual. A demon supposedly attending and obeying a witch. Obeying a witch. Obeying a witch. And so the reason I keep saying witch is because of this. In our last few months of being together, he had met someone on OkCupid. Now, I didn't know this in the beginning, so let me just explain it to you. So he had met someone. I didn't know where she came from, but I knew he had met someone because he was talking very differently in our home when he was on the phone. Not a big deal, but I could tell it was something different than normal. And I let it ride, but I began to feel the tension in my soul, in my spirit, in my bones, because, well, just because I do know things. I've trained my life, my body to follow my intuition. Let's put that there for a minute. A few days later, after he began talking to this person on the phone, which I did not really care. I mean, it didn't matter to me, but I knew something was, the energy, the spirit was off. And so the next few days, I went to my social media Facebook page, and I saw this person, someone like something that from way back when was like. So I looked at who liked this particular post, and it was of my music partner and I, a song. And so I wanted to find out who this person was, who had to stalk and scroll for a long time on my Facebook feed, because this was years and years and years ago. And so I found out who this person was. I went to her Facebook page, and on her Facebook page, she had things on it like in a relationship, meaning that she and my roommate slash music partner was now in a relationship. Okay, fine. But then as I began to scroll through her photographs and her images on her Facebook page, there were things like, I believe in trickery, I believe in witchcraft. She has a tattoo that says, on her finger that says, I put a spell on you. And these things began to disturb me in my soul, in my spirit, in my intuition, in my mind, in my body, because I'm thinking there's no way that my life and her life could ever merge, because she proclaims to be a witch on her social media page, or at least that's what she posts a lot. And so I went to him and I said, listen, I see what's going on, but there's no way this person can be a part of my business, my ministry, or anything like that. There's just no way. And he said nothing, as usual when I confront him about things like that, the things that he wanted to have his way with. And so he went all in with this witch. At least that's what she proclaims on her Facebook page. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. But in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, in my spirit, I knew him well enough to know that if he is making a conscious, intentional, deliberate effort to FaceTime her, to talk to her 20, almost 10 times a day or whatever, he is getting most of his information, most of his influence from her. Keep in mind, he has rejected everything spiritual that I tried to involve him into over 20-something years. So now he has begun to get his influence from this quote person that believes in witchcraft, according to her Facebook page. And so, obeying the witch, again, familiar spirit. It's a spirit or demon that serves and prompts an individual. A demon supposedly attending and obeying a witch. And I know this is going to be tough and hard for some of you to listen to, but I lived under the oppression, the craziness of this particular thing for 20-something years. And it got increasingly worse, as if something demonic, something of from a different planet was being operating and housed in this particular person. Let me go on and read about Wikipedia again, what it says about familiar spirit. A familiar spirit, alter ego, personal demon, spirit companion, is the double, the alter ego of an individual. It does not look like the individual concerned, even though it may have an independent life of its own. It remains closely linked to the individual. Now, what do I want to say about that? As I look back over this whole entire thing, and I'm sorry, I apologize, but I have to go back to day one because I'm going someplace. When we were isolated, all alone, and something influenced this particular person to masturbate in front of me the very first time we were alone. Hear my heart. He was influenced by something or some evil entity to do that. This is how this thing captured me. What do you mean captured you? Captured you. I mean that it captured me in such a way that I was frozen. I was under the control, dominion of something that I felt like I had no control over. It was sent. It was sent. It was sent to. It was sent to take me out. Familiar spirit definition: a supernatural spirit, often assuming animal form, supposed to attend or aid a witch. And so the deciding factor was this, and I always knew if he ever got involved romantically with someone, I was going to be out of there anyway. Let me just say that again. Instinctively, in my heart, my soul, my mind, my spirit, I knew years ago that if he ever got closely linked romantically or whatever with someone, the whole thing was going to be over anyway, because I knew the influence I was under. I knew the battles that I had already fought with him. And let me just be plain and honest with you. I knew in my heart, my soul, my spirit, there was no way in hell that I was going to fight two evil spirits.